What's up, everybody? This is Wes with the Salty Golfer Show, and I am excited to have Mr. Luke Walmet on the show today. He's getting ready to play in the Rice Planters golf tournament down in Charleston, and I've been asked to do a few podcasts with some of the players. And Luke, thanks so much for hopping on. Excited to have you here, and why don't you just introduce yourself real quick to everyone, and we'll hop in.
Yeah, thanks, Wes. I'm excited to be here. Appreciate you having me on. Huge fan of golf podcasts and podcasts in general. I listen to a few, so really excited to be on one myself and chat with you. So I'm Luke Walmet. I grew up here in Charleston, in Mount Pleasant specifically, which is where Snee Farm is. Started playing golf about the age of 8. Just started hitting styrofoam balls in my backyard, and then started playing my first tournament when I was 9. And just kind of kept getting more and more serious about it from there. Dropped the other sports that I was playing before high school, and then I went to Bishop England High School here on Daniel Island and played for them for 6 years. Got to do the couple in middle school, and then now I play at College of William and Mary up in Virginia. Play on the golf team there, and just finished my sophomore year there. So, and this will be my 4th year, I believe, playing in the Rice Planters this year.
That's awesome. So the Rice Planters, just to give everyone kind of a little background check on it. This tournament's been around for a long time. It's had a lot of big name players come through. Big name players win it, like Brooks Koepka. Did Brooks win it, or did he just play in it?
Brooks won it in 2009. I was out there the other day, so I was looking at the winners list. But like there's Tom Lehman, Stuart Sink. I mean, there's a couple other major winners on there, and just a lot of names you would recognize.
I think I saw where Brandel Chambly played in it too.
Brandel Chambly won it too. That's right. Yep, I remember that.
That's crazy. A lot of big names have come through and played in this tournament. It's really cool to see the history. I'm excited to be down there for the whole week, and they've asked me to do pre and post interviews, so that's going to be fun to do and stuff like that. But let's get into your background a little bit. You said you're at William and Mary, just finished your sophomore year. Tell us a little bit why you picked William and Mary to go play your golf and get your education.
Yeah, so by the time I was in high school, I knew that I wanted to play college golf, wanted to continue playing. I loved my first couple years of team golf, kind of fell in love with that. So I started doing recruiting, around my freshman year, emailing coaches, stuff like that, playing in lots of tournaments, and had COVID was during my freshman year of high school, and kind of didn't have a ton of success up to that point, and then it felt like a 3-month or so break to just kind of decompress and work on my own game and myself, and came back from that and had a really good summer in 2020, and then a good solid year or two at junior golf after that, and that helped me kind of through recruiting and get noticed by some coaches. But when it came to that point, it was kind of a thing where I wasn't just thinking about golf. I was thinking about academics, and that was I knew that I wanted that to be my number one priority. So William & Mary ended up being a good fit for the academics, but also I thought that it was kind of a good distance from home where I knew I wanted to, get out of town and adventure, explore a new place a little bit. There's nobody from Charleston that I know that went to William & Mary in my class, so I've got a whole new set of people and friends, which has been awesome. My coaches were great. That's always kind of one of the last selling points once you become interested in a place, and they got me to fall in love with the program and the school and everything else, and it just kind of ended up being a really kind of well-rounded, good fit for me. So I ended up committing pretty early. I committed when I was still a junior in high school, signed my senior year, and I had no heartburn about being done with recruiting. I met a lot of great coaches along the way, and it was fun, and talked to some cool people, went some cool places, but it's a stressful process for a 16-year-old to go through, for sure. So I was happy to kind of get the monkey off the back, and felt like I was in a good spot, and I'm really happy with how it worked out. It's been good.
That's really cool. So this is a golf podcast. So take us through, for the people that don't know, because I think you're my first collegiate athlete that I've had on the show. So
Sweet, man. I'm honored to hold that title.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for that. And so take people through, how does, say we've got a tournament coming up. How does the team get filled for that week? Is it a playoff type thing? Are you playing 18, 36 holes? Is the team already set? Just take us through a week before the tournament starts?
Yeah, so when we get there for a new semester, it's essentially a blank slate because we have new players when we come in from the summer for the fall season, and then getting to the spring season, we're coming off of 4 or 5 months of off season in the winter. So lots of time for guys to work on their games and lots of things can change. So start of each season, it's a blank slate. And at that point, we will play a pretty long qualifier, typically anywhere from 4 to 6 18-hole rounds. So plenty of time for kind of variance to work itself out. And, if anybody has shown that they've made improvements over the winter or is just coming in off a hot summer, they've got plenty of time and opportunity to showcase it, in that span. And then my coaches typically do a combination of taking automatic qualifying spots and coaches picks. So they will always have 2 to 3 automatic spots. So the guys that finish in the top 2 or 3 in that qualifier are automatically on the bus going to the tournament, which I think is great because it, keeps it as a meritocracy. Then they'll have usually leave 2 to 3 spots open for coaches picks that are a little bit more subjective. Now, my coaches are really good. I find them to be very fair. Any of the subjective choices, I haven't had a single problem with one in 2 years, whether it involved me or not, frankly. And I would say that 98% of the time or more, they're just going down the next 2 or 3 scores and just taking the top 5 guys that finished in the qualifier. And so it's definitely a meritocracy. And then as the season goes on, we usually play about 5 tournaments in the fall and 5 in the spring. And if someone goes to the first tournament and has a really strong showing, maybe a top 10 or top 20 individually, the coach might exempt them for the next tournament or two. If they win the tournament, they might be exempt for the whole season. They just kind of feel it out. But otherwise, if you don't go out there and, perform up to the level that is, expected of you, you kind of recycle back in and have to start over with the qualifying. Now, we won't have as long of qualifiers once we kind of get into school and are playing more tournaments. They might be 36 holes or 18 holes. Maybe we'll do a 54-hole one if we have an off week or something like that. But it becomes a little bit more of like the tournament scores matter more as you go on, if that makes sense. Because, shooting 68 at the courses around town in qualifying is great. But when it comes down to it, we're trying to go perform well in tournaments on the road.
Yeah. So for people that have never played tournament golf, I've had a little taste of it. But it is a different animal. Like, it's easy to go, at your home course playing with your buddies to shoot, whatever. But then when the pressure's on and the tournament starts, it is a completely different animal, right? So talk us through a little bit of that. Are you a nervy guy? Or once you hit the first shot, or are you good to go? Or, how do you combat those nerves when you're going into a tournament?
Yeah, I'm definitely a nervy guy. Just to start off, I mean, people that know me, if anyone is listening to this, I'd be lying to myself if I said I wasn't a nervy guy. It's just, it's human nature. You want to go and you want to play well for your team. Who's not going to get nervous, And I definitely tend to be on the nervier side, but you can tell the way I'm talking about it. I don't really have any shame about it. I see it as, pressure is a privilege, is the famous saying that we kind of go back to, and I have no problem with it. I think that's a great thing to kind of go by. But no, once you kind of settle in, for me, after the first couple holes, it definitely subsides, and you kind of get back to just playing golf, and you get into the processes that you have. For me, it comes down a lot to pre-shot routine, making sure I just do the same thing every time to feel as comfortable as possible. And, once you see that first putt go in, once you see, that first iron kind of come off the face flush, it's a lot easier to be confident and pull the trigger from there on in. That's what's really tough about tournament golf, is getting off the bad starts, because one, you've got to play so much better from then on in to even finish, where you want to. But also, like you're saying about nerves, like confidence is probably lower. Your nerves probably haven't settled in yet. That's where it really gets hard. Golf is hard enough, when you kind of feel like you do everything right on your end. You still sometimes don't get what you want. When you're making unforced mistakes on your end and kind of head starts to spin and things start to move quickly, that's when it really gets to be challenging. But you just go out there and do the best you can, man. I pride myself on, even when I do get off the bad starts, leaving it all out there for my team, because we And for those that don't know, in college golf, we'll play 5 guys, we'll play, and we'll count the 4 best scores. So you never know if one of your other guys is really having an off day. And even if you shoot 78, that might have some value for the team if someone else shoots 81, you know? So even if I am a few over par early, staying in there and trying to grind and, battle and put together at least an okay round has some value. So I think college golf has taught me that well and helped me to kind of stay within myself and never give up on rounds, better than I did when I was a little less mature in junior golf, maybe.
So in a college tournament, you're playing for the team, but you're also there's an individual. You can win the individual as well, correct? Is that how
Yes,
that works?
it's there's basically 2 competitions going on. When you go to one of the tournament portals online, there's 2 different leaderboards for team and individual. Yeah, and we winning individual is really cool, but like I was saying, I feel like the most guys are there and are thinking about going there to contribute good rounds to their team, and if you do that, good things will happen on the individual side.
Yeah. Well, you talked about pre-shot routine. So I cannot remember what I was reading. It was online, but or who said it. But this was about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and I kind of put it into to play in my own game, and it's really helped me. I would say probably 5 to 7 strokes per round. But the comment was um, going into your shot, if you can accept what's about to happen before it happens, you will be a lot better golfer. And
Yeah.
just going in knowing that when I make this swing, if I've prepared, if my pre-shot routine is consistent and it's the same thing every time, and I'm going to accept what happens on this swing before the swing's even made, I myself have become a better golfer, allowing myself to do that. Which is it's as an amateur golfer, uh, you know, things can get squirrely really fast from the get go, and then but that's the cool thing about golf to me is playing other sports and even playing other sports in college. I always had someone to pass to, or I could take a timeout, or if I wasn't playing well, I would be pulled, right? So golf is the reason why I love golf so much is because whatever hand you're dealt with that day, you've got to figure it out. Like you said, you've got to grind, you got to get through the nerves, especially if you're off to a bad start. All right, can we turn this potential double bogey into a bogey? Can we turn this bogey into a par somehow? And I love that aspect of golf to be able there's a lot of when I look back at when I get done playing, I study my scorecard a lot, and I will pull positives from that scorecard. Like, man, that could have easily been a double bogey, and I was able to say bogey there, or that could have been a bogey, and I got up and down for par. So that is what I love about golf. For me personally, is every day you step on the golf course, there is a different challenge. Yes, you're playing the same game, but the swing could be off this much and could be causing the ball to do something completely different than it does most days. And then you got to figure that out on the fly. And that is really fun to me. Also aggravating because
Absolutely.
you could be playing really good golf. And then 12 hours later, it's like, dude, this is like my first time ever playing, right? I'm sure you've been through it.
Oh,
But
100%. Yeah.
that's just what I just love the game of golf for that reason because there is it's all on you, man. There's nothing that you can't call timeouts.
Yeah, that's right, man. You're out there alone by yourself, and you got to live with the consequences of your actions. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so rice planters. Let's dig back into that for a little
Yeah,
bit.
man.
So this is kind of like a home game for you, right? This is home track. You remember out there before you guys moved out to Daniel Island. You've played this golf course. You probably know every inch of it. What is the expectations for Luke? I'm sure the main expectation you want to win this thing, obviously, but like when you're getting ready for this and you've played in it a few times now, take us through like maybe even take us 6 months back and be like, all right, this is marked on the calendar. Is it on your brain a lot, or is it like, all right, we're a month away now, we're going to start diving into the rice planters? Like, take us through that.
No, definitely is on my mind for a lot of time. Ever since or sometime early in the year, I threw my application in and got accepted into the field, and it kind of for me is it except for maybe like the South Carolina amateur or if I qualify for something big, it's kind of like my masters during the summer. It's really one that I circle on the calendar and look forward to. And just like you were saying, the fact that it is a home game for me too, being able to stay in my home bed. I live 10 minutes from the golf course and grew up. We were members there for 5 or 6 years and still play there a lot even now. And just being able to have lots of my parents and lots of friends around out there, the whole thing, it's great, and is just really one that I have a lot of motivation to go and play well in and do well. And as far as goals, like you're saying, certainly winning is always the gold standard and what I'm looking towards. But I think for me in this tournament, it comes down to really staying within myself and really just putting together 3 very solid days. I've a couple times in this tournament taken myself out of it the first day. I did a little bit better last year. I ended up finishing around 20th last year, but even still, I think I shot 74 the first day, a couple over. So, not completely out of a good finish, but made it hard on myself to really be there for the win since it's only a 3-day tournament. I would have really had to make up a lot of ground quickly. So I think that 3 really solid days, if I can get something under par that first day, just feel good about my game, get a solid tournament rounded, and just be in a good spot to go from there. I've shot low rounds out there. I know that my putter can get hot out there, and there's plenty of birdies to be made. So I think I think that's what it comes down to for me. And tournament golf is hard. There's just going to be a lot of good players in this field. There's going to be guys whose putters get really, really red hot, and that might not happen for me, even if I hit all 54 greens for the tournament. But just giving myself the chance and playing very solid, steady golf is what I'm looking to do.
So in this tournament, like you've played a few times now, if you've got 3 rounds under par, whether that be 2, 3, or 4 under each day, are you in the mix in this tournament, or do guys go like crazy low here?
Yeah, I would say a couple under every day. If the conditions are good, if we don't get too much wind or other weather, probably not going to be there to win the tournament, but certainly going to be right there for a top 10 or maybe even top 5. And if the conditions get hard, if we get wind or any other kind of rain or other elements out there, anything under par is going to be of value and really going to put you right there, I would think. If it is relatively benign, I think it's definitely going to be double digits under par, maybe even close to 15 under or more than that. So your putter's going to have to get hot. You're going to probably have to shoot one or two really low rounds to be there. But anything's possible. I mean, like I'm saying, if you can stack a few good days on each other, the birdies add up, and they'll keep you right there in the mix. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to get after.
What is the golf course, Snee Farm? What is its biggest defense? What is the most difficult thing out there? Is it weather? Is it the greens? Is it what makes that golf course? What is its biggest defense? I guess is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think it is kind of the lurking double or triple bogey in a lot of ways, because there's a lot of holes out there where if you put yourself in good position, you're going to have a wedge into the green. Maybe you can reach a par 5 and you'll have a good chance at birdie. But there are several holes that have water very close in play that you can get in trouble with that very easily. Thinking of number 8 off the tee, thinking of number 11. And then there are a lot of holes with out of bounds through the neighborhood lining pretty close by. It's pretty quick. It's pretty doable out there to put yourself in a spot to make a double bogey just because of one bad swing. So I think that it is kind of that lurking big miss. And the strength of my game typically is accuracy off the tee, which is good. I think it sets up relatively well for me in that sense. So if I could go the whole week without losing a ball, that would be a really big win. That's definitely a goal that I'm going to have for myself in the back of my head, because it should be relatively doable to keep doubles off the cart if you're able to do that. And if you're able to hit a lot of fairways and greens, there's plenty of birdies to be made.
So that was my next question. What is Luke's strength? Like, where are you the best? Is it off the tee? Like you hit a pretty straight ball. Like that's where the confidence is.
Yeah, I would say throughout my time playing golf, which is about 12 years now, the thing that's been most consistent is driving accuracy. Not one to lose many balls. Usually, I'm coming in from the fairway. I'm not a long hitter. I've gotten a little bit longer the last couple years to where I think I can keep up at the Division 1 level now, but still a short hitter compared to most guys. And other stuff has had its ups and downs, been really strong at times, not as strong at others, but my driving accuracy and just the ability to kind of get the ball in play and keep it in front of me has been the thing that's been most consistent, I would say.
Sick. All right, so this is where our followers and the people that watch this show and listen to this show, they really geek out, and this is where I geek out too. So, like, um, are you when you and your caddy get together and you're looking at the scorecard for the week, right? Like, are you marking down like we must birdie 8, we've got to birdie 12? Like, are y'all going through that, or are you saying like we're okay with par on this par three? Are you getting that detailed on the scorecard? Is there a plan, or is it just like, hey, we're just going to go out here and make as many birdies as we can?
Yeah, so I would say that there is absolutely a plan in terms of what I want to hit off of tees, especially if it is less than driver, which there are some spots out there to do that. And then in terms of how aggressive I want to be into the greens, I am someone that likes to look at the pin sheets the night before if we have them. Some tournaments you don't get them till the first tee, so you can only do so much. Even then, walking down each fairway, I'll have a caddy with me, like you said, so I have a little bit more time to kind of think about this stuff. I will be looking at where the pin is and then trying to decipher exactly where I want to put my ball relative to where that pin is. So if I have a yardage book, which I should for this tournament, I'll open it up to the green that we're playing. I'll put down my strategy. I put down a little circle, like where the hole is essentially, and then I put down an X to mark my target of where I want to go. So that might be sometimes it's precise because the old moniker of aim small, miss small, right? And I might put it 1 yard left of the pin and 2 yards past the pin, just to put myself a little bit more in the center of the green and give myself a little bit more margin for error there. I would say that the plan comes more down to that and to the shots that I want to specifically execute more so than scores, if you will, more so than like need to birdie this hole, we got to be 2 under by the turn, et cetera, et cetera. I would say that stuff ideally takes care of itself more if we execute those shots and stick to the game plan. And then because what I think about with that stuff is if I execute everything right, I could have 15 feet or less for birdie on every single hole in theory. And I don't want to be putting limits on myself almost of like, all right, 2 under at the turn is our goal. Well, what if I turn at 4 under? Then am I going to mentally be okay with that if I kind of put the end goal on myself being 2 under? Then I just want to put myself in the best position to stick with that process more so than the score goal, if that makes sense.
I think sometimes like if and all players are different, right? Like if the
Yeah.
goal is 4 under by the turn and they're at 1 under or +1,
Yep.
now that they really start to press, then
Exactly.
shit can go south real fast, right? Like,
Very fast. You're exactly right. It goes both ways. That's a good point too. I mean, let's say I said 3 under by the first 9 of the tournament. If I turned at 1 under, I'm still very much in the running to fire a 68 or 67 if I have a really good back, and that would be an awesome first round to have. But golf is just so fickle, man. I mean, it. Like anything can happen at any point. I just try to focus on executing what I can control the best and try to be at peace with whatever happens from there because it can definitely not be what you're hoping for very easily.
okay, so we've got a caddy on the bag. Who's the caddy? Shout him out real quick.
I I have like a couple of my friends are playing in the qualifier, and I've asked multiple that you know and they know it mutually. It's not like I'm withholding information from one or the other. We're all kind of in a group of friends, and like if any one of them said if they don't qualify, they're happy to hop on the bag. So hopefully it's going to be one of my buddies from that.
Awesome. So do you how involved are they in the tournament? I mean, are they allowed to club you? I mean, are you reading your own putts? Are they helping out? Will you call them in if you see something you're a little confused on? How involved is the caddy with you in play?
Yeah, so they're as involved as can be. There's nothing that they aren't allowed to say or really do for me. And I would say that I'm someone who is probably above average in getting their caddy involved because I really try to stick to the process and the strategy that I was talking with you about, with stuff like the pins. And when I have someone there, even if I'm doing all the work myself to decide the stuff, if I have someone there to just discuss it with and make sure that it makes sense to, and even me just the act of saying it out loud kind of affirms it to me in a way. So having someone there to discuss all of it with like that, I really enjoy doing and going to do for this tournament. Reading putts can be a little bit more dicey because it's just so nuanced and almost personal with like how different guys read putts. We might see the exact same thing but communicate it in different ways. So I would say that is probably where I would maybe only call the caddy in if I'm not sure about something. If I read it and feel like I see the good line, I'm probably going to just go ahead and go with it. The caddy can do anything else that he needs to do. But certainly if I have any uncertainty, caddy will come in to help me.
Yeah, so I've played in a couple of PGA Tour Pro-Ams now, and having a caddy, that the caddy experience, like I'm calling them in on everything. I love it. Like I love the interaction. Like it's so
Yeah,
cool to like be standing there on the tee box and them saying, "All right, look, you need to put it right here," and
yeah,
I don't know, man. Like it is. I'll never be a tour player, but to get to play in these pro-ams that are very tour-like, and you're
yeah.
playing with tour players, like it is really cool to have that caddy experience. And I'm on staff with Shrixon, so my buddy Clayton, he carried the bag for me at the Myrtle Beach Classic,
It's
and I
awesome.
gave him the opportunity. I was like, dude, you don't have to carry the staff bag. Like it's massive. Like we can get a little small walking bag. He's like, no, I want to do the full experience. I'm like,
Well, you just got to do it right, man. Whole
yeah,
experience.
yeah. So it was fun. We had a good time. We played with Hayden Buckley and
Nice.
Henrik, yeah, Hendrik Norlander, and
That's
it
super
was a
cool,
lot of
man.
fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But all right, so wrapping up. All right, is Luke okay? Winning is the goal. We want to win. But if we top 10, if we top 5, are we ecstatic about that? Are we like, man, I was there, I could have pulled it off? Like, I'm sure there's different scenarios for different whatevers, but a top 10, is that a win for you as well?
I it's a great question because like people listen to this to me. I mean, I probably sound so punchable like saying this again, but like I really do try to grade myself on the process of how I did things and on how I felt like I controlled what I can control because again, so much of it when it comes down to results and strokes is not as in your control as it might seem. I mean, there's breaks that are there. There's a lot of it comes down to putting, right? You might be hitting your lines all week and stuff just isn't going in. That just happens sometimes. And some of the guys might not even feel like they're putting that great and ball just keeps going in the middle of the hole. I mean, that just happens. So I definitely if I finish top 10, I would be shocked if I am really upset with myself. I mean, that this is a really really strong tournament. It's a great field and that would be my best finish in this tournament by far. And I would certainly be taking a lot of positives from that. Now, the difference between me finishing eighth or whatever it would be and me finishing first might be stuff that was, it might have just been I got beat by 7 guys who were really hot that week, but if I did really feel like there was a lot that I could have done better and, that I need to improve on going forward, then there's a little bit of room for, some frustration and taking that as fuel to kind of go and work harder and be better. So I mean, golf is so hard with everything that kind of is involved in it that I really try hard to compartmentalize and separate what I can do and really objectively be fair and grade myself on how I did that week. And, sometimes that kind of means trying to separate it from the scores and the results a little bit if I need to. So I am, you know, I kind of am a guy who I just try to let the results come from what I do as opposed to just targeting the results, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I love that. I absolutely love that. All right, so to wrap up, this is what we do. We do a thing called Salty Seven. All right, it's
Sweet, man.
seven rapid fire questions. You don't know what they are. You just give me the answers, the first thing that comes to mind. Okay.
Okay.
But let me ask this. This question doesn't count. But let me ask this
Okay.
question first before I do this. Do you listen to music while you're on the range, or do you listen to music on your way to the golf course? Because that has to do with one of the questions.
Okay. I do not listen to music on the range occasionally while I play if I'm with friends and we're just having a good time. But I would say most of the time when I'm playing golf and never when I'm practicing do I listen to music.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fair enough. That's what I needed to know because then that question would
Okay.
have been weird. So, all right. So, these are random. They're not all pertain to golf. All right. So
Okay.
just whatever you think. There's no wrong answers. Does pineapple belong on pizza? Yes or no?
I'll say yes.
Yes. All right. All right. Well, you know what? It's about 50-50. Some people are like disgusting, and then other people are like, yeah, if I'm hungry enough, I'll eat anything on pizza. So,
Do you want me
all
do
right.
you want me to elaborate on my answers here at all, or
Yeah.
do you just want yeses or nos?
Listen, this is the question that people elaborate on the most because some people have a very strong opinion about pineapple on pizza.
Sure.
So
Well, I
elaborate,
don't
please.
I don't have a very strong opinion, so I think that probably makes it easier for me to say yes. I feel like most of the strong opinion people are probably saying no, I would guess.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
but I if people can do whatever they want, man. Like would I ever choose to eat it or order it off a menu? I mean, probably not, but clearly for a lot of people and maybe even cultures, it is a very important and beloved thing. So I have no problem with that. I mean, enjoy your pizza, man.
That's right. Enjoy your pizza. Swing your swing, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you can do
Um,
whatever you want, man.
all right. Besides the golf clubs in your bag, what is your favorite golf accessory?
Oh, that's a good one for me right now because I just started doing probably 6 months ago now. I started doing a program called the Stack, which is a speed training program. They have gotten more popular in the last couple of years. It's kind of like speed sticks, but it's just one like club with a grip and a shaft on it, and then it has five adjustable weights that I can screw onto the end that goes up to about 300 grams. So I go in my backyard about every third or fourth day. It gives me about a 15-minute dynamic warm up to do, and then I swing that puppy as hard as I can, trying to biohack my own body and my own golf swing to be able to move faster and swing harder. And it really has no free ads on here. I don't know what your exposure levels are, with this podcast yet, but it really has been great for me and made a big difference. So that's an easy answer for me right now.
What have you seen distance wise? Have you gained 7-10 yards or?
I would say even more than that. It really happened fast when I started doing it, and then I haven't plateaued, but the progress is just slower now. It's kind of more sustainable, but I would say in the first 2 months of doing it, I gained like 5 or 6 miles per hour of club head speed, which was like 15 or 20 yards with my driver. It was really a big difference and kind of a game changer for me in college golf because I went from being a guy who drove it 260 probably to 275, 280 now, which, on the length of golf courses we play, which is like low to mid 7,000s for yardage, that is a huge, huge difference and has really helped me a lot.
It's like a difference between a 5 and a 7 iron into some of the greens, right? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's right.
okay, so what is your ball? What do you mark your balls with?
Yeah, a green Sharpie, and I do one dot on each side of the numbers on both sides, so 4 total dots on the ball. I go green because my high school and college colors are both green. I love green too in general. I'm a big nature outdoors guy. It's my favorite color for sure. So easy answer for me. I'll always do that.
And this is kind of goes with that question. What ball marker do you use?
Yeah, I use one. I got a custom made one with my high school logo on it, the Battling Bishop, Bishop England Battling Bishops. That is pretty worn by this point. I've had it for like 4 or 5 years, but I've used it every tournament round ever since I got it, and most of the white and green paint is gone, but you can still see it, and still means a lot. So
That's awesome, man. I've got an old one that it's actually a penny that was ran over by a train. And
what? Wow.
Yeah, we had a train, like when I was growing up, super not safe, so kids don't listen to anything I'm saying here. But we had trains right near our house when we were growing up, and in the summer, we would go lay different types of coins out on the track, and a train would come by, and they'd run over, and they'd flatten them out, and then train would go by, and we'd go pick them up. And I've got a couple left over from my childhood that I used that are in my golf bag as ball markers. So yeah,
That's awesome, man. That's a great story.
yeah, pretty cool. All right, so do you have a favorite club in the bag? This is question number 4. Favorite club in the bag?
I'd say driver. I like trying to hit drivers off the deck for fun. I just love hitting drivers in general. And so, yeah, I'd say driver.
What driver, subset question, what driver do you hit?
Yeah. Titleist, TSR 3.
What shaft's in that?
I don't know the actual name of the shaft. I'm not a huge equipment guy in general, but it's some kind of, I think it's extra stiff. I think my irons are stiff and my woods are extra stiff.
I love that.
Some kind of extra stiff shaft.
You just know it works. That's all you need to care about, right?
Yeah, I trust the fitters that have the numbers and know what they mean more than me. Whenever I ask them to explain stuff to me, it always makes perfect sense. So I mostly put my trust in them.
It's so funny because I've done several podcast interviews with players and stuff like that now, and there's never an in-between guy. It's either they know everything about tech or they could care less about tech.
Right.
There's no in-betweens. I've had tour players tell me yeah, I'm not really sure what shaft's in my driver. I just know that it works. And then other guys are telling me to the ounce what it weighs and all of this different, or the gram what it weighs. And it's funny how there's no in between. It's either I love everything about tech or I could care less about tech. So
I've had the exact same experience. I totally agree with you, and it's very funny. I especially, not to be an asshole here, but I especially get a kick out of when you find a really high handicapper who's super into the tech, and you kind of want to make the Indian arrow joke, if you will, right? But listen, I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff to explore in golf, and I'm sure that'll help them get better. So it's at the same time, it's great.
All right, number 5. You talk about high handicappers. Give us what would be something you would tell a high handicapper they should work on before they work on something else? Would it be hey, work on chipping, work on 100 yards and in, work on putting? I was always, I interviewed a guy one time and he said, work your way back as an amateur. Don't work your way forward, work your way back. What is a tip you would give an amateur trying to get better as quickly as possible?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think in particular, it's really easy, I would imagine, for a lot of amateurs to want to hit the ball really far. Because it's fun, fair enough. But if you really are serious about, getting better, and that's your goal more than it is to just go out there and relax and enjoy yourself, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think you've got to work backwards and, get to a solid level with your chipping and putting, and be able to hit the green from, say 120 yards and in, because that's where I see a lot of the difference is, when I play with higher handicappers, and when they do happen to hit a good drive and are in a good position, we've got to be able to make a relatively stress-free par when we've got 100 yards from the fairway most of the time. Right? That's where a lot of the difference is those guys are still very much liable to miss a lot of greens from that range, and that's going to lead to a lot of bogeys or even doubles. So, yeah, I think you're exactly right. If someone is serious about getting better, I think working backwards is the right way to do it.
Cool. All right, 2 more questions.
Sweet.
All right, would Luke rather have 18 pars or 9 birdies and 9 bogeys in a round?
It's a great question. I mean, I think I don't know who could sit here and say that they would want to have 18 pars more than the opposite just because it's so much more exciting and interesting. But honestly, like if anyone knows me that's listening to this, like I probably am about as good of a candidate as you'll find because it's kind of my game a lot of the time is when I'm playing well, it tends to be steady. It tends to be a lot of pars, not as many birdies or bogeys as the rest of guys. So like anyone listening to this who knows me would laugh at me saying 9 birdies and 9 bogeys because that's most of the time not the reality for me. But I feel like you got to say that. It's just going to be make for a much more exciting and interesting day. You know.
I always say for me personally, because I'm kind of with you. Like if I've got 18 pars on the scorecard, that means I'm played probably the most consistent round of golf I've ever played in my life, and I'm dying for that. Right? Like I
Right.
would love that, but like 9 birdies and 9 bogeys, that means yes, as exciting as that is, that means there was some squirrely stuff going on too, right? Like right,
Yes.
hanging on for dear life as well. I'm kind
High
of with you.
ceiling and low floor.
Yeah. I kind of dig the 18 pars. All right, last question. When Luke wins this thing, what restaurant are you going to celebrate at down in Charleston?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm not 21, unfortunately.
It's all right. It's all right.
Uh, I
Where's
would
where's
have to.
Snake at then?
Well, this is going to be kind of boring. My parents and my family and I have a restaurant that we go to so much more than anywhere else here, and it's called Fuji Sushi Bar and Grill. I think there's like 4 of them in Charleston. We go to the one in Bell Hall, which is like 5 minutes from Snee.
Yeah.
Literally, like the night that we're filming this, we're going tonight, just a normal Friday night, and we go like almost once a week. We all love sushi. It's my favorite food, and it's so freaking good, man. And so yeah,
I'll try
I
it out there in a couple weeks.
yeah, please do. I would love to get creative and say some cool fancy bars or big steakhouse downtown, but I'd be lying if I said anything else. So I gotta be true
All
to
right,
it.
man. You don't have to like. We have this. There's a place that Katie and I go down here, and it's there's several large Japanese restaurants down here in Myrtle Beach, but there's a little mom and pop one that does sushi, and they don't cook in front of you, and we go there all the time, and it's better than any of the. So I get it, man, and it's like our little spot. We love it there.
Yeah.
Tai Chia is the name of it, and
Okay.
it's
Great.
a
Yeah.
great
Noted.
restaurant. Yeah, it's really cool, and I don't need you to cook in front of me if the food's good. You don't have to. I'm not worried about all that. But
Exactly.
Luke, I can't thank you enough for being on the show. I wish you the best of luck coming up in a couple of weeks, and we're recording this on a Friday morning, so it'll be out this weekend and probably Sunday sometime. But I'll text you and let you know when it goes live. It'll go on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all of that stuff. So, guys, this is Luke, and he's playing in the Rice Planters. I wish him the best. I hope he goes super low and is maybe possibly able to lift the trophy on the last day. And Luke, thanks so much for hopping on. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and best of luck in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, man. Yeah, you too. I really enjoyed it. We'll hopefully come back with that trophy after.
Yeah, we'll have to do a post round pod with
Yeah,
the trophy.
absolutely, man. Absolutely. I enjoyed it.
All right, Luke. Thanks so much, brother. Appreciate you.
Yep. Thanks, Wes.
Yeah, man. All right, dude. That was awesome.